The opportunity was there to get second tonight had we won, but I had a funny feeling that Everton are not a bad team. They're better than I think what many would have given them credit for. So I think to get something, considering how bad we were in the first half an hour, I'll take it. Mixed bag of a game, I think. I think the opening 30 minutes, I thought Sunderland were really poor. Just in general play, I thought Everton were, I'm not saying they wanted it more because I don't think that was true, but I think Everton were just that little bit extra quicker to the loose balls. I think that when Everton didn't win the first ball, they were easily winning the second ball, and I think they just had more composure in the opening 30 minutes. I thought Sunderland's passing was terrible. It was sloppy every time, and I think sometimes it was we were trying too eagerly to get ahead and to get level quickly when we went behind. I've got to say, from Ndai's point of view, that goal is an absolutely stunning individual effort. Maybe shouldn't have had it as easy as that, if I'm honest, but either way, it was a good individual run and a good finish past Robin Roos, to be fair. So credit where credit is due on that front, but I thought Sunderland made it far too easy for Everton in the opening stage. We just couldn't get the grips with the game at all, and I think we just weren't our usual self first 30 minutes. Now, having said that, when we got into the last 5-10 minutes of the first half, I didn't think we actually were that bad, and I think there was one at least goal line effort or clearance that was probably from Jordan Pickford. Of course, Pickford probably has the game of his life, to be honest, and I love you, Jordan. How anyone can dispute your England's number one, I have absolutely no idea. And there goes the lighting going off there. That was not expected. But either way, I think we made Paul's just trying to walk around, trying to get the light back on. Oh, God. Yeah. But yeah, either way, hopefully people keep walking around so this stays on. But either way, to get back to it, I think that the first half, I was probably quite, not happy, but I was content to only be just 1-0 down, because at 1-0, obviously after Ndai's goal, Barry has a really good, as a sitter practically, and if he gets that on target, there's a good chance it's 2-0, and it's a long way back from there. So we had to ride our luck a little bit to stay in the game. But then, of course, we come out in the second half, and I thought Sunderland straight away got the response we needed. Obviously, the goal was a big stroke of luck that it was deflection that took it past Pickford from Granit Xhaka. But to be fair, there was more urgency, there was more purpose, there was more. The passing was crisper, it was cleaner, it was more precise, more succinct. It was just, you could tell that the energy levels had just gone up a bit, and obviously that did reinvigorate the crowd. There was a couple of efforts. I think one effort might have been where there was and bear in mind I haven't watched any of the Sky coverage back yet. From what I can remember, there was one effort in the second half when at 1-1, obviously, when I think Sunderland had a shot that was pretty much, I think it looked like it might have been going in, and whether Pickford might have tipped it onto the post, I'm not entirely sure about that one. But yeah, I think Sunderland huffed and puffed, but I think Everton did stand firm for a lot of the game. And I think there was one occasion when Granit Xhaka, from what I can remember, tries to pass through. And he's a bit too eager, and then we end up giving the ball away, and then I think they have almost a one-on-one, but thankfully it didn't come to anything in the end. And then it kind of petered out towards the last 10 minutes, or 1-1 draw, which, if I'm honest, if you're looking at it just from a perspective of after Wolves, if you'd offered me from the games against Chelsea and Everton, if you'd offered me 4 points, I'd have been over the moon with that, because I didn't expect to get anything against Chelsea. And obviously a win tonight would have put us second, and it would have made that the clash against Arsenal at the weekend would have been a top 2 clash effectively, which is mental when you look at it, considering we've just got promoted. And very quickly, actually, before I mention, there's a tweet from KLD that Keith Downey did put out, that I might try and put a picture of on the screen. Obviously, if you don't see it, then I haven't bothered to do it. But what I was going to say, but I have to quickly mention the officiating tonight. I thought the referee and VAR as a whole were absolutely shocking. I think that, and they're not just even, and again, because we got a point, I'm not bitter about it. I think it was the game, it's a cliche, of course. I don't want to make it all about the referees, and I've tried hard not to mention them this season, but that was easily the worst refereing performance of the season for me so far. He just had no control. There were times when there was just such inconsistency with decisions where, you had us getting a yellow card for a free kick, and then Everton would commit a similar sort of offence not long afterwards, and then nothing was given, not even a foul was given for it. It was terrible. And then the second half, from what I can remember, there was at least 2 good VAR penalty shouts. Now again, this is just based off having watched it once live in the ground and haven't watched any of it back. But I remember good mate James Copley from the Sunderland Echo, love you James if you're watching this, he obviously put a tweet out, I think it was around 73 minutes, where Sunderland apparently, he was saying, having watched the replay, Sunderland should be getting a penalty here, and then somehow nothing gets given. Now, I don't know whether I'm going to be fuming watching it back and thinking, how on earth is that not given? And thankfully we got something, so I'm not going to be too bitter about it. But, again, I'm thinking, I can, I stand by what I said about refereeing in the Championship. I think it's absolutely effing atrocious, and I think I will always stand by that. But VAR, if that was the case, if we should have had at least one penalty, then VAR clearly wasn't used to its full potential or full effect. But yeah, not to ignore that the referee. We got something out of the game, and I think it was important not to lose, and I think that's the best way to put it, because the extra points you can gather now, even when we've won the last 2 before this, you just want to make sure you keep getting those points ticking over. And I said I wouldn't have minded with a point tonight. Obviously, I would have loved to win, of course I would, but 18 points after 10 games, not one Sunderland fan realistically can complain with that, I don't think. And in the end, my point was probably about right. I think Everton did have their moments as well. So, personally for me, I think the good thing now is to make sure that we just keep building on it, keep grinding points, because we know how hard December is. But obviously, get through Arsenal, and if we get anything against Arsenal, I'll be baffled, to be totally honest, because I think Arsenal look the business this season. But if you're offering me a point on Saturday now, I'll be over the moon with it. But having said that, look, it was important just to get to January and see what we can do from there. And to quickly end the video from here, the tweet that Keith Downey did put up, that I'll put on the screen now, pretty much was that KLD apparently says we're targeting a top 10 finish this season. Now, I have heard whispers and murmurs from inside the club, and again, this isn't just like first-hand information, this is what I've heard, whether on social media or seen on forums, and again, take that with a pinch of salt, because forums are forums in general. And obviously not with the best reputation, but apparently they've said that inside the club they want much better than just survival. So if we're talking a top 10 finish, if we finish top 10, that's a great season for me. Me personally, I'm still looking at getting 40 points, and I still stand by that. We need 22 points now to achieve it. But the more points you get now, the less pressure you have later on. And even if we don't finish anywhere near as high as we are now, which we're not expected to be fair, we want to be in a position at the end of the season where we're at least, not coasting, but you know what I mean, we're at least pretty much safe, and we can enjoy the end of the season and try to get into the top 10. And if we don't manage it, at least we avoid relegation. That's still the primary aim as far as I'm concerned. But there you go, guys. I will not be at the Arsenal game because obviously I'm with my family in Manchester this coming week, because my 2 cousins have their birthdays within a few days of each other. So it's always a tradition that I go down there. So I'm hoping to be able to watch the game because it's obviously on Sky. So if I do watch it, you're able to get a video from me. If you don't get one early enough, then you know why. But yeah, I won't be at Arsenal, but let's fingers crossed the lads do the business and get anything out of the game. And as always, if you're watching the video, you're not subbed and you think I've earned it, then obviously hit the sub button. Like, comment, and comment respectfully, share the video around. Obviously helps the algorithm out, it helps everything. And I'm trying to get 7K now, so I think I'm on like 6,240 something. So, you know, got something tonight. If people could hit the sub button, that would make me day. And yeah, take care. Stay safe, and until Saturday at least, away the lads.